The Horror of St. Augustine Lighthouse, Florida, based on true 19th century event. Do you think working in a lighthouse is peaceful? The reality is far more chilling and terrifying. Here, monstrous waves engulf this 30 to 40 feet tall lighthouse. Nights bring violent storms that shake the very foundation, and the creepy sound of the roaring sea fills the air. That's why this job is no less than a living nightmare. Lighthouses usually stand solitary on remote islands of ocean outposts, places where no one comes or goes often. In the U.S. state of Florida, standing bravely amid the Atlantic Ocean, is the St. Augustine Lighthouse. The first wooden lighthouse here was built in 1824, but in 1874, a new, gigantic stone lighthouse replaced it, giving it a fresh structure. This tall tower guided ships safely, preventing them from crashing against dangerous shores. But for every life this lighthouse saved, it swallowed many more. It's said that the walls here still echo with children's laughter, sailors' screams, and the footsteps of a lost lighthouse keeper. In 1859, Thomas Griffith became the first lighthouse keeper here. He was a simple man assigned the lonely post on this isolated sea island, fighting storms and huge waves during the day, and sitting alone in the 165-foot tower by night, guiding ships. This was his life. Thomas, muttering while closing the door, "This is now my home, alone, in the middle of the sea, no company at all." But soon, the silence of this place became a terror greater than death. Thomas' first night experience. Thomas was on duty, lantern in his hand, climbing stairs. Suddenly, the sound of children's giggles filled the air. Thomas, pausing, breathing hard, asking, "Who's there?" He swung the lantern around, but the stairs were empty. Only a cold breeze brushed his face. Thomas, wiping sweat and whispering, "How could anyone be here? This is the middle of the ocean." But footsteps echoed from the stairs. Thomas, trembling voice mutter, This is impossible." Here's a tragic historical event. In 1874, during construction of the new lighthouse, a heartbreaking accident took place. The supervisor's 3 little daughters were playing near the nearby rail trolley. Suddenly, the trolley slipped, and all 3 girls plunged into the sea. People tried to save them, but sadly, all 3 drowned. Since then, it is believed their spirits haunt this lighthouse. Their laughter, their whispers, can still be heard. Thomas began feeling strange things every day. One night, Thomas was sitting in his room, writing in his diary, when suddenly there was a knock on the door. Thomas nervously asked, Who is it?" But no reply. Again, after some time, there was a knock on the door. He opened the door, but there was only darkness outside. But then he heard the sound of children's footsteps, as if someone was running up the stairs. Thomas, with scared eyes wide open, uttered, "Oh God, what's going on?" He grabbed his lantern and ran upstairs. At the top of the stairs, he saw the shadow of a girl, staring at him, sitting there silently. Thomas, with terrified voice, wiping sweat, "No, this is just my eyes playing tricks." But then, again he clearly heard the children's laughter and whispers urging him, "Come play with us." Thomas gathered his courage and shouted, "Who are you? Show yourself!" But suddenly, the light flickered and went out. In the darkness, the laughter of three girls echoed. "Come play with us." Thomas, drenched in sweat, stumbled back and hit the wall. Suddenly, someone grabbed his hand, a freezing cold touch. Thomas screamed loudly in fear. And then, long silence. The next morning, when officials arrived at the lighthouse, no boat, no sign of Thomas. Only his boots were left near the stairs. According to visitors and locals, even today, anyone who enters this lighthouse hears that same laughter. Sometimes children's giggles, sometimes Thomas Griffith's shadow, and sometimes that girl, sitting patiently at the top of the stairs, waiting. So friends, this is all story about St. Augustine Lighthouse. Do you dare spend a night alone at the St. Augustine Lighthouse? Tell us in the comments, because your comment tells us how deep the next scare should be. See you in the next spine-chilling story. Until then, keep feeling the darkness around you.